Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Orange Crushing It. My name is Frank Clark. I'm the CEO and your host for the show today. And again, I have a very, very special friend of mine on the show today. This guy embodies true health and true fitness. And he also embodies, the zest for life. I mean, you can't see this on a podcast, but he's actually wearing a Hawaiian shirt, very festive. He looks great all the time. He's got amazing energy. His name is Nick Knutzen. And Nick, again, is a great friend of mine. He's the founder of Wyld Joy. He is considered part coach, part chef, and he uses a steel knife and cast iron pan to teach people how to radically present, cook healthy, and live handsome. Live handsome, sure. Live handsome, live beautiful, and live awesome, Look, I've been going to the gym every single day for the last 2 weeks, literally every single day. I hired a trainer and everything else, and you know what? The weights and all that, that's really only 20% of getting fit. Nick, welcome to the show. You take care of the other 80% of health and looking good. Welcome to Orange Crushing It.
Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Mr. Orange. I'm super grateful to be here. And congratulations, 2 weeks at the gym is no small feat. So I want to acknowledge your accountability and your consistency for showing up. Consistency is the standard on which everything that I've built, from passion to career to health, fitness, consistency is the flagship upon which I sail my life. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's been, 5 a.m. every day for about 14 days now. So we're staying fairly consistent with this thing.
Beautiful.
Anytime you roll into big birthdays, it's always, okay, I'm going to do this now, man. But Nick, you're a chef and you're a cook and you have all these great attributes. How did you get involved and how did you know that this was your passion? Like, when did that start for you? When did you go, man, I got to do this for the rest of my life?
Wow, great question, Frank. And wow, the moment. I don't know if there was a white light moment where it all, it just dawned on me, or there wasn't a vision where I saw myself doing this in a kitchen or in a gym or anything like that. It has been a very, what I would call a experiential and learning experience. So the more I learn about myself, the more I see how it really applies and how it can really contribute to the rest of the people, other people who I am connected with and who I serve. And
Okay.
So I think it's really, like I said, it's about consistency is the flagship on which I kind of sail my life. It really has just been because of consistency. Now, that doesn't mean to say that there hasn't been the right mentors or the right wild man in my life to show me things that I wasn't seeing. But I don't know if there was wasn't just I woke up one day and was oh, I see myself doing this. It was just, it started as a very slow burn. It started really, Frank, out of necessity and a necessity to just stay alive. When health and fitness really started to truly get onboarded in my life was when I was in treatment about a little over 9 years ago. And the only thing that made sense at that time, when I was battling my darkest, most intense demons, I had no idea what one day from now would look like, let alone 1 year or 10 years. The only thing that made sense was to move and eat as if my life depends on it. And it still does.
Wow. That's fantastic. And thanks for sharing that with us, Nick. It usually is sometimes in our darkest days that the light hits. And I know people that are in treatment, they say in order to get through treatment, you have to have, first of all, you have to hit the rock bottom. You have to be at that point where you go, you surrender to it and say, okay, now is the time that I want to change my life. And that's why, you know, I don't know if these stats are 100% true, but I do have some personal experience with a very close friend of mine, very close person to me, that went through 3 tours of rehab and treatment and battled a drug addiction for a long period of time. And now he's very clean, but it took 3 times, and it took, you know, multiple attempts at this because of the fact that they hadn't hit their bottom. They hadn't committed to, okay, complete surrender to what the situation was. And that willingness, that light that says, I have a will to live. I have a will to keep going in a much better fashion. So congratulations for you for making it to the other side. You know, you said it was 9 years ago. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's an incredible hero story and incredible accomplishment. So kudos to you.
And yeah, I'll just share this, Frank, what was like, you know, there was there's this, one of my favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, and every time I'm on a speaking engagement, I actually sing the song, but it's the song Under the Bridge, Take Me to That Place. Yeah. You know, and I don't,
you're gonna bust out a couple verses here?
Yeah. I don't want to live that way. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Because I really never wanted to live my life like I was when I was in the deep throngs of addiction and alcoholism. It was that bad. Now, it doesn't mean that this path of sobriety is easier, because I don't really believe there's anything like an easier, softer way in anything we do in life. There is no magic pill, but I just knew that I never, ever wanted to not wake up and hear the music of life again. Like, it was that bad.
Wow. But that's incredible. I mean, and you said there's not an easy way, but there are healthy ways. You know, some people trade one addiction for another, right? They stop doing drugs and alcohol, but then become sex addicts. So they come drugs and alcohol and they smoke themselves to death, right? I mean, you chose a path that's very, very healthy and inspiring, and you've converted that not just into, I'm going to cook and eat well, but I'm going to teach other people how to do that. I'm going to make your kitchen a fun place to go. Because I can tell you, for me, okay, you know, if Lucky Charms is gourmet, then I am Chef Ramsay. I eat like shit. I'm not ashamed of that, for the most part. You know, I need a guy like you, Nick, in my life to help me get through and I bet you there's a ton of people that are listening to this right now. Some that are great cooks, some that eat really healthy, but consistently, are we doing that consistently? And then there's some that like, man, I would love to know how to do that, but it just seems such a daunting, big deal, right? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. It's like most things, right? People don't want to take it on because they go, oh, it's so easy for you. You know, I don't have the time. I'd rather meal prep. I'd rather have somebody do it for me. I'd rather eat out. Hell, it's easier to eat out, right? How do you get people in the mind? How do you get a guy like me, all right, as fit as I am, a guy like me to go, man, I want to cook. I want to create. I want to turn my kitchen into my haven of a place that I want to hang out at.
Well, great question, Frank. You know, first, where I would start is, you know, by simply asking, like, why cooking and why now? Like, what is your bigger intention? So we always have, before we go anywhere, we have to kind of know the direction in which we're going to be going.
Sure.
So is cooking for you, Frank, like something that, you know, you just want to improve your health? Do you want to create more magic, like just by being able to prepare like simple, healthy, delicious meals for those that you care and love about? Or is it just something that you want to really just like maximize your time and still eat simple, healthy, and delicious, but you only put in X amount of time per week and you get this many meals out?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's a combination of all of that, right?
Yeah.
You know, I would like to be able to have people look at my stove and go, oh, is this thing brand new? You just get a new appliance, Frank? No, I actually use this thing. and then also, look, I'm a single guy. Who wouldn't want to be able to cook a great meal for a guest? right? I would just be able to entertain. I love it when I go to my friends' houses and they can cook up a great meal. And let's face it, I'm 60 years old and I like to eat healthy. But when I do those things, I mean, I feel great. I have virility and I have energy and all of those great things. And yet there's still that, yeah, but I can just go across the street. There's a nice restaurant over there. I've got a fish and some veggies and who knows and who cares how it's prepped. It's quick, it's fast, and done. Boom. All right, here we go. It's mindset. I guess it's true with everything, right?
Correct. And so, I have this quote, this sort of value that I live by, which is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So in like what I teach is not just like how you cook simple, healthy, delicious meals, but I teach you who you are and who you want to be when you are cooking. So essentially, Frank, like what that means is that behind every meal is a story of where you have been, story of where you're at right here and right now, and a story about where it is you want to dream and grow into. And really what that really is driving home at, like at the heart of it all, is that cooking is love, right? So it's about cooking as a practice of self-love, cooking as an expression or service of love for others. And not just like, I did this, but like, let's have fun. So like, let's not just like, let's dance in the kitchen. Like, let's make sure that we are doing the things correctly, but we're also having fun. So that fun can also transfer over to the dinner table where you have like a little mealtime ritual about maybe sharing what was fun for you that day or what you're most grateful for, or who knows, like where, just really kind of creating that connection that really sustains our life. Because yes, we all need food to survive and thrive, but another hierarchical need we all need and desire is a sense of belonging. And for me, food is that great equalizer to bring that sense of belonging into our lives.
That's a great way to look at it. I mean, I certainly can say that I don't particularly look at it. I look at it as I look at a lot of meals as a fun event, especially when I'm entertaining, right? And you're having people over, you're part of that group. But I don't always think about it just even from a one meal and me. Even just having a ritual like that, right? Hey, to be grateful and thankful that you have a roof over your head, you have food to eat. And it's healthy or whatever. You just have sustenance in your life. I think that's amazing.
And here's one thing that I'll just, for anyone who's listening in, like every time, so what I teach in my course and what I teach with individuals and what I do for myself is that before I cook, it doesn't matter if I'm just going to cook a simple breakfast or cook an elaborate meal. What I do every time I step into the kitchen, Frank, is I take 5 big, deep breaths before I pick up a knife, before I turn on the stove, before I pull anything out of the fridge. Because what I want to do is I want to be radically present. Because if I can't be present, then I can't really have that intention. I can't really bring that story into the meal. Then the other side of that is the physiological side. So, I'm also sharpening my mind as much as I would be sharpening my knife. Okay, so with those 5 big, deep breaths, I calm my mind down, and as a result, I calm my gut down. And we all know there's a big connection, highway between our head and our gut.
Right.
And by calming our gut down, I'm then better able to absorb the nutrients of that simple, healthy, delicious meal I'm about to prepare and eat for myself.
That's a great way to look at it. And it's a great little ritual that you're doing too. I think in many cases, again, I'm really speaking for myself, but I tend to believe that this is, fairly common. That people separate I'm going to meditate or I'm going to get into a great state. And they separate that as different than I'm going to eat a healthy meal. And if I'm hearing you right, what I'm taking away from that is that they're very both much the same, because, healthy body helps to create a healthy state of mind. and vice versa, right? Healthy food,
Absolutely.
positive attitude reduces inflammation, positive attitude, positive energy, positive outlook, helps you not get cancer. It prevents sickness, much like food does, the right foods, right? Integrating both of those, that thought process and a proper meal, help overall the complete balance of the quality of life. And I think sometimes
Absolutely.
we just kind of split it and go, well, I ate some protein or whatever, whatever that looks like. So
Yeah, and I there's nothing wrong. Like, I don't have any issues with people counting or anything. Like, I know that people are aiming for numbers, macros, whatever have you. But like, at the end of the day, like, what is really most important for me when I teach people how to cook, about the art and the joy of cooking, is like really like bringing that full presence and awareness of self into the kitchen with you. And that's why that breathing is so critical and so essential. And imagine if you took, 5 big deep breaths before every single meal that you cooked for 1 year. Like, your enjoyment, your ritual for cooking, you won't even think about what it was like when you first got started. Like, I was afraid to start, or didn't really want to start. You'll be so zoned in, locked in, that you won't want to even go out to eat anymore. Like me.
well, that would be a massive change for me.
Now, I'm not saying I don't go out to eat, but there's some pride in being able to provide that meal, that service, that love for myself and for those that I care about.
Awesome. That's a great way to look at it. Nick, you coach people, part of your business, with Wyld Joy is not just teaching people how to cook, but it's also getting them in the right mindset and about cooking and about their health and about their life. What would you say is the quintessential goal of what you do? One or two things that you go, I succeeded. Well, I guess fill in the blank on the sentence. I succeeded with a client when. That client, what? How do you know you're good?
Yeah, so just to paint a little context, I focus my primary, I'm sorry, let me repeat that or restart that. So my primary focus when coaching is I work pretty much exclusively with men. And a lot of my coaching evolves around men's work, really trying to identify what it means to be a man in this world. But more than that, like, I succeeded with a client when they realized that their happiness depends on the choices that they make for their life. Like, it's not external. So I succeeded in helping a client understand that that attachments are the number one blockage to one's happiness.
Attachments. What do you mean? Can you be more specific on that? What do you mean by attachments?
Yeah. Well, attachments are, well, first off, attachments can be, for me, I'll just speak for myself, but attachments to, success, attachments to a individual, a person, a relationship, an attachment to, let's say, like during this time of COVID, like things opening back up again. Mm-hmm. So an attachment is something that I have that I think or I believe that I need to have this in order to be happy.
Wow. I've heard a phrase, and what I'm hearing you say very much mirrors that, is trade your expectations for appreciation. So that's in essence losing the attachment. Lose the attachment to a particular outcome. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process, right?
Yeah. And I think, the root cause of attachments is fears, beliefs, mm-hmm. and, fear of not getting what I want, or fear of losing what I have.
And I think we all have that, right? At some level.
I would be surprised, other than the gentleman who climbed El Capitan without a rope. I think we all have that fear. Yes.
Yes. But who's that guy that swims under ice and all that? The Wolfman
Oh,
there?
Iceman Hoff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ice.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that guy's nuts. I'll have to get him on the show one of these days. Although he'll probably make me do it in Alaska or something, half naked. And I will refuse. So, Nick, again, why the choice to work more with men than women? What made you decide, that was more your calling to, rather than, not to single out the ladies here, or not to like put you on the spot, but like I coach a lot of people, but I would say probably 70% of my client base are women. People just tend to gravitate, more women tend to gravitate towards me in that particular space. Why just guys?
Well, first and foremost, like, I'm a man, and I just feel like in a group of men or individually with another man, like I think as men, when we're together, either sitting one from across from each other, just on a one-on-one basis, or in a group, I think that allows me as a man to open up. So I think that there's just a connection just between man and man that really helps open up the heart. And to me personally, why men? I just believe that, how do I say this without getting too carried away? But what I'm really interested in, why my company is called Wyld Joy, is that I really want to put men in touch with their wild man. Like, we have lost as men the initiation process from boyhood to manhood. And I believe if that was more of a consistent thing, that a lot of the systemic problems that we are facing today, they would go away, or they would alleviate.
Wow, that's a great statement. And yes, I believe that what you're saying is 100% true here. What do you think caused that? What do you think brought that apart? What's been the deterioration of that wild man mentality in guys? And if, I guess, if you had to say this was, not there's a root cause of one particular thing, it's probably, environmental changes, there's economic changes, there's, governmental changes, there's, in a relationship, we're going through COVID, and, the dynamic between men and women, and all the things that are changing and evolving. But what do you think caused one of the biggest changes? And if, in your opinion, what is the one or two things that people can do to get back into that wild man, that claiming themselves as a man mentality?
Great question, Frank. So I'm going to start with your first question as to why I think why this has gone on. In my opinion, and even from some of my experience, I believe it's been a severe lack of leadership and a lot of naivete from males. And so I feel like there's a severe lack of leadership of at least addressing the question, the very root of the question, like, what does it mean to be a man?
Right.
So no one's addressing, like, the leaders of the world are not addressing this question. And they're not in touch with that wild man, right? They're not in touch with the ability to even grieve, right? They're not in touch with the warrior or the lover, the magician, or the sovereign king.
You're right. They're not.
And so I think it's a lack of leadership, or people not seeing that there needs to be leadership amongst like having conversations, simple, creative, fun conversations around what it means to be a man, and hard conversations, difficult ones too.
Yeah. I think there's something been lost as well. Like you said, the getting in touch with the king and the sovereign, getting to all those different aspects of a personality. But I also think that we're tending to live more in a society now that is very catering to the exception. So the inner voice of, I need to be a man. If I want to be strong, I want to stand up as a man, I have strong male values, strong male energy. And it's okay. It's okay to honor that. I don't have to be feminine all the time. It's okay to be soft and sensitive and caring and loving and all those feminine traits, right? The goddess energy, if you will, right? Princess energy. But damn it, I'm a guy, and I like being a guy, and I like being masculine, right? So tapping back into that and owning it, I think that's fantastic that you're recognizing that and helping guys to do that. What would be a couple of methods that you do that help guys tap back into that?
Yeah, great question. Well, I think there's a few things that I would say. I'll say the first thing is, like, if you really want to be in touch with your wild man or wild woman, right? We're all humans on this earth. And we all inhabit this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful planet. And what I would say is just go spend a weekend in nature. Like, get into your wild side there and jump around on trees, like bang around on the tree, like just like if you were just a little kid, like in the woods, just like let it go and scream and shout and like have no judgments about yourself. The other suggestion, I guess, is a little bit, I guess there's, two answers to the same question, but, wild man is also, finding that mentor or that group. So find a men's group. There's a really amazing group called Sacred Sons, which I am a steward of. They do, right now they're doing lots of online men's gatherings and things as such. So it's starting to shift. We're starting to see leaders emerge in wanting to bring this work to the forefront of the consciousness of the greater consciousness of the world. And so I think another thing that's been missing is just like men just getting together is really medicine in all in itself. So maybe it's just a simple book club with a group of men.
Yeah.
And just talking. Or maybe it's a group of men that go to the gym and work out together.
But get involved.
So I think there's just trying to find, just being in groups of men is really, really powerful and medicinal, because that brothership is medicine. And then at the same time, like, find that mentor, find that person that has something that you want and stick with them.
Great. And like you said, how you do anything is how you do everything. So consistency is the key there, right? Get a good coach, surround yourself with somebody that can motivate you, keep you accountable, and get around other guys, tap into that tribal energy again. It's inside of all of us, that orange driven, passionate, let's go, adrenaline junkie. Let's just go and get it done,
That strong warrior Zeus energy, right? Like Absolutely. That, where you can go and be in that safe container where it can be a bit of Zeus and lover, right? Where we can be all of the above.
Right, yeah. So tapping back into that and combining that with food. Okay. I am working out. I'm tapping into my tribal here, Nick. Okay. I'm getting all 100% Zeus energy. And you're my nutritionist. You're my diet guy. Okay, Frank, I want you to maintain this. Here's what I would have you. Here's a couple of things that I want to make sure you're eating on a regular basis to maintain that kind of energy. What would you suggest to somebody like that? If you're working with guys and you want guys to have that energy, that drive, most guys get, tap out like 2:00. They get the food coma. They get the, the ability to go and be tribal and be on point all day. If there was a couple of eating tips that you could give people that would help them maintain that, what would it be?
Learn to eat your vegetables.
Ben and Jerry's is a vegetable, isn't it? Didn't it make the food group? No.
No, we're not at Encino, man, with Pauly Shore saying this is the fruit group and your dairy group. No. No, I think so much, why I say vegetables, like learn how to cook and eat vegetables. I think by focusing on, and I'm not a vegetarian and I'm not a vegan, so I'm not advocating that, but just, especially right now too, where I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, like this is the season to like a bounty of fresh, local, seasonal vegetables is just like on display. So this is an amazing time. So I say vegetables because I think it will really help cut inflammation. Like the more nutrients plants have the most micro and macronutrients available out there in the world. So I'm going to say, eat a big ass salad every day for lunch. And the second key to that is like start to master your sauces, which is something that I teach in my cooking courses. That's the third module is called Saucing It Up, where I teach you how to make your own sauces, your own salad dressings, because you want to be putting in the right types of oils and ingredients into your food. Especially from an oil standpoint, you want like olive oil, coconut oils, those pure oils, because those are going to eliminate inflammation. And I feel like if we can be less inflamed, then we're going to have that vitality for more energy to take care of what we need to in business. It's going to increase sex drive. It's going to increase testosterone. And I know as men, like that's all something that we're really looking for. And so I think we need to clean up the diet so that we can clean up our sex life and we can clean up our health and clean up the drive that we want for business and our purpose, our mission, and our legacy.
Absolutely. And now you have even more people interested because you said the magic word sex life. So
don't worry, it doesn't come in my course doesn't come in a unanimous box to your door,
Don't you wish, huh? Don't you wish you could create, make me the sex salad. I'll have a big bowl of that every day.
Oh, that's a great recipe idea, Frank.
There you go, Nick. You got a table. You got to tag that, own that. Say, okay, we're going to have one big sex salad today. All right.
Well, I do joke about this, and I'm not advocating anybody do this, but I do think, I know, Frank, that you had mentioned that you mentioned here on this, but you're interested in learning how to cook because you're back dating again, and how meaningful it might be for a date to be able to cook a meal for someone. And
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
Yes, like you get, I do love like joking around about sex salad and all those things, but there's nothing more meaningful than bringing connection, nourishment, and love into the world than a shared meal. And that's really what that's my heart speaking there.
Yeah, well, I resonate with what you're saying, Nick. And, I've started to check out some of your modules, and I'll tell you, they're highly informative, and I recommend people check them out as well. Nick, thank you for being on my show today. It's very informative, brother. Very informative. You've got me thinking about I want to go have a big bowl of salad and just from now on. You've reframed this for me, brother. And but seriously, I understand the power of vegetables. And look, inflammation, when the body is inflamed, it can't move. It's like anything else, right? You put glue on something, it doesn't move. You pack stuff into a bag, or you fill up your trunk, you put garbage in everywhere, clutter and everything else, it becomes difficult to move around. It makes sense. Get rid of the inflammation in your body moves forward. It moves faster. It moves more, systematically. And with motion creates emotion, emotion creates your destiny. And so it all ties together. Nick, how can people get a hold of you? And I recommend that you do, folks that are listening out here, because Nick he'll teach you how to cook. Guys, especially if you're out there and you're looking for, a fun way to do it, a fun way to tap into health. And I mean, it's a podcast, you can't see him, but he's a really good looking guy. If you want to look like this guy. Nick, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, great question. They can reach out to me. I'll just throw my email out here. And what I'd love to offer, Frank, if it's okay with you, would it be okay if I offer a free complimentary coaching session for anybody who thinks that this might really resonate with them?
Absolutely. I think, if anybody gets a hold of you, Nick, and they reference Orange Crushing It, and you want to offer that up to them, so that they heard it here, give it to them, or however you want to do it, Nick. It's 100% your gift, and I think it's amazing that you would want to do that. So yeah. So how can people? What's your email address so people can reach out to you?
Yeah, it's NICK at wyldjoy.com.
Okay, Nick at Wyld Joy, WYLDjoy.com.
And then if you're on the Instagram, my handle is at WYLDJOY. You can also reach me there. So yeah, I think those would probably be the two best ways to get in touch. And I would love to, anybody that this really lands with, or this really resonates, you want to change anything that you want in terms of being more connected with food or just better health, being more connected, I'd love to have a conversation with them. And please do reference Mr. Orange here. And I'm thinking of an orange crushing it smoothie that I'm going to share with you once I have it. I've been working on it, so I'm going to share that with you.
Dude, I would love to have a recipe for a very health-driven orange crushing it smoothie. I had a woman on here. One of the podcasts I did was with a woman that sells essential oils, and she sent me the orange oil and told me how valuable it actually is and how it increases vitality and energy. And so I take the oil and I smell it every day. Now, if I could start my day off with an orange crushing it smoothie too, on top of that with the oil, man, unstoppable, baby.
Yes.
Unstoppable.
I love it. Yes. I'm working on it right now. So I need a couple more iterations on it, but I'm very close.
All right. Well, Nick, thanks so much for being on the show today. You definitely embody orange energy. You're driven, you're passionate, and you're a contributor, man. You're always giving back and making the world a better place to be. I appreciate you being on the show today. Again, if you want to get a hold of Nick, he's at Nick at Wyld Joy, WYLDjoy.com. Thanks for being on Orange Crushing It. Thanks for having taken some time with me today. I really, truly appreciate you and everybody out there. Have an amazing day. Stay healthy and stay inspiring, everybody. See ya.